Almost every man eventually falls into the same hidden trap, and the most dangerous part is that he usually doesn't notice it until the damage is already done. The truth is, relationships rarely fall apart because of age alone. What slowly destroys them is something far quieter and much more destructive. Have you ever wondered why some men in their 40s or 50s still appear confident, attractive, and emotionally magnetic, while others gradually fade into the background? It's not simply about wealth, looks, or good luck. The real difference lies in psychology, specifically in understanding attraction and human behavior, yet very few people explain it honestly. If a man never learns how female psychology and attraction truly work, he can lose meaningful relationships without ever understanding what went wrong. In this video, we will talk about the psychological changes that happen in a man's mind over time and how those changes influence his ability to connect with women, create attraction, and sustain relationships. These aren't generic dating tips or comforting cliches. They are brutal truths and real psychological principles. And the final point is the one most men overlook, even though it often costs them the most in the end. This is where the real problem starts. Many men believe that as they grow older, they should naturally become more composed, more rational, and more in control of everything in their lives. But the reality often unfolds very differently. Instead of becoming more connected, many men slowly become emotionally guarded, mentally rigid, and increasingly difficult to reach on a deeper emotional level. Over time, this weakens attraction because women are not drawn to a man simply because of his experience or stability. They are drawn to how they feel in his presence. A man may have every aspect of his life organized and successful, but without emotional energy and connection, relationships begin to feel empty. This is where many men unknowingly lose their way. They confuse maturity with emotional distance. As the years pass, they take fewer emotional risks. They stop revealing their authentic selves. They stop allowing themselves to feel deeply and instead focus on protecting themselves from discomfort or vulnerability. While it may appear practical, it often damages relationships. Real emotional intimacy requires openness, not weakness, but the strength to be emotionally honest, present, and genuine rather than hiding behind constant control. Unfortunately, many men move in the opposite direction as they age. They become emotionally predictable, detached, and difficult to understand, which quietly creates distance in the relationship. One truth that people rarely talk about is this: love does not survive on its own. It has to be nurtured continuously. Yet many men eventually reach a point where they think they no longer need to make an effort. And that mindset is often where the relationship begins to slowly decline. They stop noticing the little things. They stop listening with genuine attention. They stop observing and understanding their partner. Gradually, the warmth in the relationship begins to fade, not suddenly, but slowly and silently, like a fire losing its spark. And often, by the time they realize what is happening, the emotional connection has already weakened beyond repair. What's important to understand is that attraction in long-term relationships is not about constantly trying to impress someone. It's about the emotional atmosphere you create around them. Do they feel peace with you? Do they feel emotionally connected? Do they feel alive and understood? Without emotional depth, relationships eventually fall into routine, and routine slowly destroys passion and desire. This is why some older men continue to remain attractive and deeply valued in relationships. It's not because they are flawless, but because they never stop creating meaningful emotional experiences and genuine human connection. Relationships are not shaped mainly by the words you say but by the emotional experience people have when they are with you. Your energy, your focus, the way you listen, and the way you make someone feel emotionally seen, those are the things that truly leave an impact. A man who genuinely understands this no longer feels the need to constantly prove himself or seek approval. His presence naturally reflects confidence without arrogance, interest without desperation, and calmness without seeming emotionally distant. That balance is uncommon, which is exactly why such men naturally stand out. But the most important lesson is this: many men make the mistake of stopping their emotional growth as they get older. They continue improving their careers, finances, and life experience, yet fail to develop emotionally in the way they communicate, connect, and express love. And that becomes a major problem because relationships are not sustained by logic or achievement alone. They survive through emotional connection. Without growth in that area, everything else eventually loses meaning. The truth is straightforward, even if it is difficult to accept. A man's value in a relationship is not determined by his age. It is determined by his ability to connect on a deeper emotional level. And the encouraging part is that this is not something fixed or unreachable. Emotional connection is a skill that can be learned, strengthened, and mastered over time.